somewhere where is empty place. We should look better, okay? Okay. 看起来好啊。Ladies and gentlemen, welcome everybody. We have an interesting topic today, which is education industry integration with special focus on university industry integration. And we have Hungarian guests and Chinese guests. The first question, why China? The answer is very simple, but you will hear later. They are providing us very interesting examples of deep university industry integration and very successful. So first question to my MCC students is that is anyone who is using DeepSeek, for instance, AI? Still the ChatGPT generation, they are outdated people, okay. Anyway, let me introduce our guests. Levente Kovács is director of Óbuda University. It's probably the most innovative technological university in Hungary. It's a fastly developing, upwardly rising university. The next guest is Frank Geng, who is the industry dean of the Xi'an Jiaotong Liverpool University. That's an international university. Xi'an and Liverpool combination is itself a very interesting thing. A lot of experience, also international experiences. The next is Vano Renata from the Oktatási Hivatal is Educational Authority. Is it okay if I call this? Responsible for higher education issues, also having a lot of experiences about this field. Another Chinese guest, Ma Junkai. She is the president of the Vekerle International University, Vekerle Sándor, the former Vekerle Sándor College. Now it's a Chinese-owned Hungarian higher education institution, fastly developing as well. And finally, Professor Gábor Halász, who is a former director of the OECD Education Research Institute, a Hungarian National Research Institute, a professor of ELTE University, and also an important member of the Learning Institute here in MCC. There was a long list of introduction, and let's start the discussion. Before my first question, let me mention why education industry integration matters. One very, very important reason is that Hungary is a medium income level country according to the classification of World Bank and IMF. And without innovation, we will never break through to the level of high income countries in the world. So innovation is not a luxury, but a necessity for us in the forthcoming decades. My personal question is that in your personal life, when did you meet first time with this education industry integration or cooperation idea? Can you remember back when you concretely met this phenomenon, this issue? Levente, please.
I will start firstly. First of all, I would like to greet all of you. My first one, two. This is working or no? Okay, so now I guess that it's working. So my first connection was in 1999 when I was finishing for the diploma thesis, my actually research work, and that was connected to an industrial system, but it was both in Timișoara where I actually finished my studies. At that time, I was living in Romania, so I'm originally from this region, and there was a hair dryer. Actually, I'm a control engineer, so I used to work with industrial applications. So we brought concrete industrial application regarding a temperature control system. It was a hair dryer. Just in front of it, it was a small metal piece, which it can be heated or cooled down, and of course automatically it was able to just see how it is working. But when we just received this laboratory equipment, didn't work, and that actually laboratory system was bought from a Romanian company settled in Bucharest. So I received a ticket, just going to Bucharest, and my first, let's say, job was just to solve this problem in 2 days, come back with the already repaired laboratory situation. I remember that at that time it was exactly the UEFA Cup final with Liverpool and Alaves, two teams. And I know this situation because one player at that time was a Romanian player in Alaves, and he made a very, very good team play at that game. And although all the night the train was going from Timișoara to Bucharest, I was trying to sleep, but everybody was shouting how at that moment the match it was. I received, I just arrived in Bucharest, solved the problem, and came back with the laboratory equipment already repaired. And I guess that even today they are using it in the laboratory work. So that was my first experience with the industry.
Not bad. Frank, your personal first experience about university industry or education industry cooperation?
For me, the first time started when I graduated from university. And in that times, my dream is to be go outside, not only in the university, but also in the society. Because in that times, China is the economic reform. All the peoples, they are not only to study, but also they want to get more opportunity to get rich or something. So this, I'm one of them, the young people. And so this I go outside. In that times, I found there are some difficulties between the university study and the real life industry world. So this is why, from the moment, I think the education should be integrate with the industry field. Otherwise, something what you study is a difficulty to find the way to show your ability. This is the first time when I graduated from university, when I had to be an assistant professor in university, something. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. My first experience when I started to work for higher education institution 18 years ago, and there are many programs in higher education where the internship for the students are longer than 6 weeks, 6 weeks to full semester. And it's quite difficult for the university to find the partners at labor market in every field to fulfill, to help the students fulfill their internship. And as an administrative colleague, one of my responsibility was to check that the department who was responsible for the internships. So it was the first time, and it wasn't easy, but somehow we succeed, of course.
My first experience about this actually is during my university time, the last year, the final year. What we do is like the school bring the company manager to the university, and they give us a project, give us a topic, which you need to like really solve the real issue. Until today, I still remember the topic is like how are we going to help them to open this market for this product in China. And the product actually is a hair care product, which you put on your hair, then makes your hair looks like more than what you have. Then they are curious, like within the budget of 100,000 RMB, how can you help us to sell this product in China? That is the first time we work as a team. From the finance part, marketing part, sales part, budgeting part. And then after we finish the proposal, then they tell us what is the issue here, they're questioning us. Then after that, they really give us the money and ask us to try in the market. And as a students, we really know some like really creative ideas. Then we try it and we're successful. And also the manager saw the value from our team, and they are willing to give a job offer to all of us before we are even graduates. And that is the first time we feel like the things which we are learning and from that project is more than all the theories we learned in the past 3 years. That's why that is the first time I really realized how valuable of connecting the education together with the industry.
If you do not mind, I would mention not one but 3 encounters very shortly. The first happened when I was adolescent. I was attending an agricultural school. And about half of my teachers were entrepreneurs producing agricultural products. We spent every week 1 day in the farm of the school and even more time. So for me, the integration of productive work and learning was the normal experience in my secondary school. The second one, when I was a university student and I was learning about education, we were learning about the Marxist concept of integrating education and labor. And at that time, there was an experimental school in Hungary where that was tried out. Those who are older might still remember the name St. Lawrence, the famous St. Lawrence Experimental School. And I visited that school where production and teaching was integrated. And that was the most beautiful school that I could see at that time. So that was a wonderful school. And the third one, when I was the head of a national education Research and Development Institute in Hungary, we were building partnerships with schools. And we conceived the schools as our industry. So for us, the education industry consisted of schools. And we couldn't imagine our work without working together with this industry.
Thank you. Gabor, you already opened the second question, which is that this first encounter with economy, business is okay as a personal thing, but you are also leaders and managers. You were selected here, you are leaders and managers. In your daily work as a manager and leader, how do you meet this kind of economic and business interests, and how do you integrate it with education? Is it on your daily agenda? How does it work as leaders? We don't have to go like step by step, but if some colleague wants to speak, just go ahead with that. Yeah, just go ahead.
Now, the other way around.
Good, good, good.
Well, perhaps what I would evoke here is that I experienced as the head of a doctoral school. That's a leadership position, I think. And my doctoral school developed a new doctoral program in the field of teacher education, and we got European funding for that. So that was funded from the European Union Horizon program. And in the European Union Horizon program, there was a very strict prescription. You get funding only if you build partnership with industry. So the challenge for us was what our industry is in a doctoral school of education. So we started identifying our industrial partners, like schools, but also other organizations, for instance, education consultancies, that was also part. And we were developing our doctoral program together with these partners. And they had a huge impact on the way we were thinking about doctoral education. I cannot go into the details, but if there are questions related with that, I can answer. So that's one experience as a leader.
As a leader of a business school, what we do is like first thing which we are trying to get all the teachers which with the practical experience in the industry, especially a lot of them they are the entrepreneur, because our school most of program actually is relevant to business economics management. And I really can see the difference between the lecturers who are having the industry experience and without industry experience. During the class when we are teaching, it's more connected to the real case, which is in the industry. At the same time, at the moment, we are developing a lot of specialization program under the business, which could help in the students to gain more skills besides business. Because obviously from the market, we can see these days, if a company are going to hire a salesman, they are required for like the background from like engineering or IT. It's I will say it's no longer like just with a business bachelor's. At the same time, we are also developing based on the market demand, which we are designing some new programs, which is more practical, and also to directly take the real course from the industry to insert to the existing program, which to make sure the things our students are learning is more in a more advanced level. And in the past, as a school, I can see like lots of, I'm not sure like in other school, but when the first time I came to this school, I can see like we are waiting for the company to come to us. If the company don't come, we are not going to find them. But what we do is we go find them, talk with them, and understand what they are facing, what kind of talents they need, and what is the real need from market. From there, we are redesigning our curriculum, redesigning the program, and try to see the opportunity and potential which the industry and education could work together. I think that is all the effort which we are doing in the past 2 years.
As I working for an authority. We are licensing university programs. We take part in the accreditation process and also check if the universities follow the rules, the legislative framework of the higher education procedures. So I visited many universities and colleges to check how they work and how they carry out the research and development collaborations with the labor market. and there are wonderful examples. And when we get there, I definitely will tell a couple of examples in every field of the higher education. Let's talk about social sciences, engineering, IT, or medicine sciences. All of them has great examples, even from the point of view of authorization and legislative part.
Okay, for me it's special because when I'm a teacher in university in a management school, it's 35 years ago, and after that I get a scholarship from Canadian Development Agency, and I go outside for one special reasons, because my professor she's been the dean of the international management school in Budapest. So I'm his assistant. So she invited me to be here to see what happened here, and during that times is the China already economy reform around from 1978, and the first time be here is 1991. So this is why we have experience, and we know how to do it. And so quickly we have success because bring the Chinese tobacco the companies, the most important and the biggest company in China, to invest in Romania, except the first the factories here. And after that, I have been invited to Canada to the West Ontario University, the Ever School. His famous professor, his name is Paul Beamish, and he arranged some PhD students, and they asked me a question. So, hello, Ms. Franks, we have a curious thing, is like, because Romania, East Europe is very close to Germany, French, and Italy, but how you competitive with them? How can you successful? And I tell them as because China is a transaction economy, and East European also is a transaction economy, but Germany and Italy and French, they are also is a merging economy system. So I use the two them, I understand them. So the professor said this. And as a leader, the most important thing is thinking. How do you think about the things? For example, in the beginning, I have many people working for me, not only foreign, but also Chinese peoples. What I think is like, I'm a professor, I can teach you in all. I can learn you all and let you understand something. But finally, within around 15 years, 15 years, realize is no. Because some people can learn something, some people never learn something. According to Chinese philosophies, the people sometimes, when you born, you bring some intelligence, but sometimes you have learned after you from education. And so this time I'll be here because what I want to know is that in this great change of the world, in China and for the European Union is very important, also is very good opportunity, because many Chinese companies, they have to invest in European Union. And Hungary is very important place, because not only because of the geographical position, but also of the economy and police and something reasons. For this reason, I come here. I focus on the education and industry field, integrated field. And these times, what about the think is very important, is cooperation. This is why I come here, I just cooperation with some people, not as before what I think to training some people to establish teams to do it. No, sometimes it's very difficult. This is why I'm very happy, Professor Jonish, you give me this opportunity to speak. And also, my neighbor is president of the Old Buddha University. So this is what my leadership conception is changing. In thinking is very important things. Okay, thank you.
I completely agree, and just closing now the row, I will actually end with 3 small examples. So first of all, of course, as a university leader of a university that's producing actually engineers, the question is that to remain a competitive university. So in that case, actually the decisions what we are making at university level in order to, for example, statistically speaking, every third engineer freshman from Hungary is coming out from Óbudi University. It means that we have to be in contact with all the industrial partners in order to present them that competitive level by which they can hire the students. Secondly, it's not also important to train the students, but it's also to train the mentality regarding the whole society. And in this case, just when we are discussing about innovations, we've created an innovation management doctoral school, the first one in Hungary, in order to not only discussing about innovation and how can we create an innovative idea, but how can we manage that. In a very small example, like a talented football player or any kind of sportsman, if you would like to see it in the world, they are doing really the job, but in the back of them there is a big team to support them, and in that situation also the innovation should be supported by a given team. And this is also from the third point example, when we just started to push on another level the collaborations, for example, with China. Just some months ago, we've created a joint venture capital together with them in order to mostly go in the mechatronics and the robotic field and in the AI regarding different kind of aspects in terms of students and in terms of research ideas to be present in China and in Hungary together. And that's also a good example that if you are pushing really the bottom and in the meantime you are trying to advertise the whole society, then actually there is possibility of mutual collaboration and mutual benefits.
Thank you very much. Before Renata has mentioned the success stories, I'm very happy about that. But before the successes, let's talk shortly about the challenges of this kind of cooperation. These are different tribes, different people. And as a facilitator, it's not my role to speak long, but let me recall my personal story. In '93, Hungary has adopted one of the most decentralizing educational law. And the schools were given to local governments. I was a young researcher and a medium-level director of a research unit in a big Hungarian research institute, state institute. And more local governments were calling us that come to us and help us to evaluate our system, what we have inherited from the state, help us with consulting, these kind of things. We started this thing, but my researcher colleagues, they told to the local governments that we can make some research about you later. But the local government people said that, no, we don't want research, but come and the practice, help us with good advices. So my little unit developed consulting at that time, but my director, the top director, was very, very Xinjiang, like nervous and tense about this thing, telling me that, János, it's not our task to provide services. We are an academic research institute. And finally, I had to leave the institute and establish my own company, which was a success story at that time, and still is going on. But the story is that we couldn't live together at that point. These academic people and these practice-oriented people, Gabor usually called them practitioners. This is a different knowledge. Do you experience the same kind of conflicts, problems between the practice-oriented people and your academic people when university-industry cooperation is in the agenda?
I guess yes. Per definition, actually, industry is focusing on other requirements than academia. So industry is mostly focused on the competitiveness and stay on the, let's say, front level on cutting edge technological questions, at least from technology point of view. So I'm representing a technological, so science and technology university. So in that case, they would like to be in front, and for that they need well-trained students. From the other point of view, academia is mostly focusing on education and on research. Our main goal is the student itself. So our question is actually how can we sell those students on the top level of industrial partners. And of course, where is the bridge? Where to be in the front of technology, you cannot, you do not have the amount of money to buy every, let's say, year a new laboratory equipment. But from the other point of view, there are the companies who can actually present up-to-date technological possibilities for students. So in that situation, actually, there is a possibility to join the efforts and present them. How to do it? Well, that needs a lot of discussions because, as I mentioned from the very beginning, the goal and the aim is different for the university, different from the industry, but somehow we are building the same society. So in that situation, actually, the mutual benefit can be found, but it needs a lot of discussions in order to do it.
For these problems is happened often because when the industry field and also the education, I mean from university to the industry, they are thinking way little bit difference. So when they want cooperation, first they must talking the same language, of course, but the logical difference. For the industry field, they want to practice. Us speak money, invest money. I want the result. For the university, like do some things according to the education ways from the theory. So from theory to the practice is not always between the theory and the practical, and it's the two different kind of people's the way of thinking. This is the most difficult things. So there are need some people to easily to make them understood. Is I mean education industry integration. First is the thinking way, the logical way of thinking is integration, and except that is trust. You know, for example, I know some many of the Chinese university they want to go to Hungary to cooperation with the University of Hungary. Why? Because many Chinese big companies they will invest in Hungary. So this is the way to working to cooperation with the industry field. But unfortunately, like most of them, they come here, they make a photo, or they just make a MOU, and then they go back to say goodbye. Finally, when they want to come here, they send some letters, want to Hungary University give them the invitation letter. No answer, because the people think, why you come here? You come here just make an agreement and you go goodbye. Nothing to do. And several 2 weeks ago, I have been before we have event in the Marriott Hotel. I go to with the President Mr. Xi Jinping to visit the Parliament to see the Vice Chairman of the Parliament, and so we're talking about it. Also, he also talking about this education. These things happened. So that means the challenge is like to trust. We need some people to act bridge to trust each other. I want to give you an example for Mrs. Ma, the president of Wickler University. He is excellent. That means the leaders in the university, what I see, even he's a young lady, nice lady, but his appearance is thinking ways very easily to catch the points. This is why I come here first cooperation It's not only with Rona University, those the secondary university, not with the famous university in Budapest, is with the university with the business school with. So this is very important. Trust, and the trust is the basement of the trust is understood, the way of thinking. So, this is why this is what a challenge. Of course, when something have a problem, it means a bigger opportunity. So this is why what I suggest. This is why we focus on this. We are very confident in the future's cooperation with our friend in university or in here. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I would like to underline Frank's and Levante's words as well. As Frank told that it is very important to build a trust and to be a bridge. So how difficult and how many tasks a university or a university leader has, because the university have to create this confidence to be a bridge between industry and academia. This is a very, very important role. But what Levente said, the most important person in this whole problem or environment is the student. So to focus on the student is the other and core role of the university and the teachers and the rector, and to give such professionals to the society, to the national and international society, in the way that those students can have the confidence, academic confidence and professional confidence in their future professional work. This is the most important role of the university, one of the most important roles. So I just have to congratulate for the rectors and and the leaders of the universities because they have to fulfill these many kind of requirements. But I also think that the student is the most important, and we work for the students.
I think for this one, what I can see is like from the industry side, I agree with Frank, which they always want a quick result. But we know for the academic side, it's always a long-term planning, and also we come out with a result. And when it goes to the collaboration between the education and industry, what company wants, they want a quick commercial result, which they have to make profits. But for the education, in lots of time when it goes to, even for the research, we have to make sure the independent of our academic researcher. It's not like they can 100% follow the way which or the requirement from the industry, and also because of the intellectual property protection, data protection, data sharing, and also like some I will say monitoring policies. All of this actually will make the whole things more complicated. I think all of this, of course, is built on base of the trust. But the trust is not something which we will build in one moment. It takes time. From my experience, same as what Frank is saying, because now there are so many China companies are investing in Hungary. And actually, lots of Chinese companies are looking to collaborate with the university in Hungary and also the industry in Hungary. And Chinese companies are also looking to collaborate with them. But what we find is there's a lot of barriers about culture, about language, about policies. They need a bridge which to break the ice, for them to really see the real demand from each other. Of course, recently we are doing this in the same research project together with Dr. Gabo, Dr. Janasz, which about the education industry integration model in China. At the same time, we are looking to like how we could implement this model in Hungary. I will say during this process, by analyzing the model, this model in China, what we can see is that because in China, the government actually is pushing for it's totally merged with the national innovation strategy. That's why from the basic road until the top, they are following the same role. That's why it makes this model goes very well. But from Hungary side, I will say that there is still a lot of policy and framework, as what the rector of Obuda University mentioned. It's still a lot of discussion framework which need to be done to make sure everyone can follow. And also we need like a case study for everyone. I believe that every one of us in this industry, we realize how important of this, but it's just like we don't have like really have a standard framework or something which everyone can easily to get into and follow. Yeah.
Thank you. I am very glad that you mentioned our common program that MCC and WBS are doing together. Let me mention one element that we already see from this program. When I compare the Chinese literature and the European literature about this topic, I see a huge difference because the European literature is full of articles about barriers, challenges, obstacles, difficulties. A huge amount of papers are about that. So it's very easy to describe the challenges on the basis of the European literature. That appears much less in China. I prefer talking about how to overcome the challenges than about the challenges, because this is already over discussed. But nevertheless, since your question was about the challenges, let me mention maybe 3 elements here. One is the traditional European university ideal. A key component of that is detachment from business, detachment from industry. So this is what appears as an ideal. And the second is the research assessment and accreditation procedures that we have. By the way, that's a problem that we can also see in China, which is neglecting the impact dimension. So very often, I could tell lots of stories about that. We recognize those colleagues who are writing things to their colleagues, but outside the academia, very few people read them. And we do not appreciate if someone has a huge impact, but somehow is neglecting the communication within the scientific community. Fortunately, there are important reform processes in this area. So there is a new research assessment approach emerging. And connected with that, this is the traditional knowledge transfer concept. So still the dominant view is that we in the universities, we are inventing things, and then this is transferred to industry, which is transforming that into an innovation, industrial innovation. But in fact, what I can see is a a two-way knowledge transfer. Very often what we can see is that companies, especially in the most advanced sector, they have much more advanced knowledge production, knowledge management practices than what we have in universities. So that means that the knowledge transfer can be also reverse knowledge transfer. Knowledge coming from industry to the university. Let me add, these challenges, these obstacles, they appear very, very differently depending on which sector of higher education we are looking at. If we are looking at research universities, yes, there are lots of obstacles, lots of barriers. But a huge sector of tertiary education is not research universities, but applied universities, technical universities. And if you go to these institutions, you see that it is quite harmonious. Working together with industry, with business, is the natural form of life, just like what I mentioned in my secondary school. For us, it was so natural that on Monday, I am working with the animals, and on Tuesday, I am learning about them. So and this is, even today, this is natural in the non-research university sector. So in that respect, I think that the research university sector could often learn from the non-research university sector. And maybe the last thing that I would mention, and this is not about the challenges, but about the opportunities, because challenges could be turned into opportunities. Just a few days ago, I was doing an interview with a business teacher who came from industry, from business, after maybe 20 or 25 years of practice, and became a university teacher. And I was asking her this question. If I could not hear what you are saying, but I would visit your class, what would I see? How you are teaching? And then she said that, well, this is quite different from the way my colleagues who spend their whole life in academia are teaching. Because typically they are standing at the blackboard or a PowerPoint presentation, and they are talking about the text that they are showing to the student. But if you look at me, in one moment I'm here, I'm there, I'm moving all the time in the student groups. I am in lots of interaction, communication with them. So what you would see, even if you do not understand what I'm talking about, is very, very different. And I am mentioning this example because this shows that even in this area, pedagogy, teaching pedagogy, it is possible to learn from those who come from industry.
Thank you very much, and I smiled when you mentioned second time the agricultural middle school. In MCC, very few students are coming from that sector. We have good learners from the best high schools of Hungary, which is a considerable disadvantage in this area, but we will think about it later. I look at the clock and I see that we have time for one final question when we finish. And then we open for the audience. If anyone else has a comment or question, you are welcome. My last question is if you can remind us one success story, one good result when you achieve this education industry integration in a successful way in your life, in your institution sometimes. Just shortly, if you could mention one success story. If it's international, it's even better because we have to learn a lot about these things. We can start from there now. So Gabor, if you can start.
Just 3 weeks ago, we came back from Shenzhen, where together with my PhD student who is sitting here, we were studying university industry integration in that city. And let me just mention one of the many good practices that we could see. This is the Shenzhen Polytechnic University, in which there are several so-called industrial colleges. So these are colleges, schools within the university, which were created in very close cooperation with industry, which means that practically they do everything together, from the conceptualization through curriculum design, the setting of requirements, the teaching itself, the evaluation. They even go together to abroad to build training institutions in other countries. So practically everything is done together. So that's the normal daily practice. And we visited several of these industrial colleges. This is the kind of environment when you are not sure, I am in a school or I am in a company. So you have this feeling that you do not really know. And in these schools, we saw very little traditional kind of teaching where students are sitting in front of a teacher. Typically, we saw small groups working on different projects, using the most advanced equipment, which came directly from industry, and a large part of their teachers were people like in the medical university, the doctor in the morning is making a surgery and in the afternoon is teaching the students. These were engineers who in the morning were teaching, in the afternoon they were working in the company. So that was really a kind of deep integration. You couldn't really separate anymore the two words. And what I felt was that this can work. If those who are involved can create this common language, the trust, the culture of collaboration, there are only advantages.
From our side, I will say that when I was working in Malaysia, we are under the same group. What we do is like we are collaborating with Alibaba, with Google, with IBM, with Gordon Construction. And we build up the lab together, which the students, every semester, there's a project which the students are really focusing on the real issues relevant to the industry to learn the real skills. And recently, actually, we are doing another project, which together with Xijia University, we are mocking the real scenario in the industry. Let's say this is a logistic company. We just taking the totally same scenario, even from the building, from the all the equipment. Then the students will be because in Xijia University since the first year, actually the students already learning this in this kind of AI environment in the seems like they're in the real industry as an employee level. Then they will be guided to do the different tasks inside of this system. And once they are gaining more experience and knowledge, then you will be promoted as manager and promoted to a higher level, then to get experience how your life or your work will be in the future if you really get into this industry. Because one thing we found that is like a global issue, no matter in China, in Malaysia, even in Hungary, what I can see when we are facing a lot of high school students, they don't know what they want to do in the future. and they don't know what they want to study and how their future will be if I study this program. But what I saw from this project is like we are showing the students the real life they will experience after they study this program. And in Xinjiang University, after first year, after you are going through all of this, you still have a chance to change your direction of the study because you know what your life will be if I choose this program. Then they can choose if they can say that I don't like this one. This is not the thing which I want. Then they can choose to study in another field. I think that is a really, really great thing which I saw. And when a lot of time we saw this kind of thing is in games. But they are really, really bring the real life to a game for the study purpose. That is something which recently we are trying to implement, and we are trying to taste it in Hungary.
There are external university departments, which are great example of the two-way knowledge transfer. And this kind of department, for example, at Óbuda University, congratulations for rector Levente Kovács, and also at Széchenyi University at Győr, where is the Audi Hungaria external department. And in these external departments, the students learn not inside university, but inside the industry. They get such a professional knowledge there, which can lead them in a great professional life later. Or another example, not from the engineering field, but the field of the arts. The Moholy Nagy Art University, the MOME. MOME has great projects for their students outside of the university. And they have great connections with the industry and other parts of the labor market. And the students who graduate there with that special type of knowledge has the great success in their later professional work. So congratulations for the universities with to transfer knowledge model.
Okay, let me think about it. What's happened in the Chinese way to think about during this 14 years, the university and the industry field. So if we want to do something success, first we must to establish ecosystem platform. The ecosystem platform, for example, should be include what you want attractive items. For example, if we want to do education and industry integration, we have to establish an ecosystem platform which one attractive university, not only from China, but also from Hungary, and also from the industry field. So this is the first important things. And if you want to attract them to be attend the platforms, ecosystem platforms, you must to know what they expected. If you don't know what they expected, nobody to join you. So in this period of times, I think the Chinese company, the Chinese university, and the Hungary university, Hungary different field, the people, they want to catch this great opportunity point, because the European Union and China will be cooperation in the innovation way in time, because the world is changed. So this is one. If we establish ecosystem platforms, we must focus on international view. It means the Chinese company, they want to go outside invest, and the people here, they want to cooperation with them. So it means international, the second we must focus on international we, not only just the Hungary university, but and also the Chinese university. And the third way is we must focus the principle. It means marketing way, because all the peoples go your ecosystem platforms. They want to find the value. They found the value people. They want to find the partners. How they found it? And the marketing view is very important. They want to together find the things. So for this eco system platforms, I think it's necessary to do it. And if who will be organization this eco system platforms, I think they need the people understand China, understand Hungary, and also they should the people understand the education, understand the industry. Of course, there are a few kind of people can be suitable for this kind of qualified. But innovation is cooperation. For example, the people today we are here we have a dialogue. Yes, I think it's the way to cooperation. Why not we establish association? I mean, ecosystem platforms to do it. Because as I understand, many Chinese companies come here, they don't know where to find the people, where to find the organization to do it. And the Hungarian people also where to find the people. Even the governments, they don't know where to find it because it's not the planning. They must, with the marketing views, do it. You know, the most intelligent people is they can smell the marketing. They can smell it. And the most big brand, they can catch the opportunity because they know how to do it. The way is marketing way. So let me see, if we want successful and international way, the people from China invest here, the people want to international way. This is one. Second, ecosystem platforms. The third way is marketing way. I would like to do something like this. This is the reason in 25 April, thank you for Ms. Jonas and Gabrish and everyone, we make a big meeting. We give the speech. We publish a study, blue books. It means invest in East European, the opportunity and the strategy. This is the way what we done. But what I need is more kind people with cooperation. This is why to be here, as I suggested, like this week. Yes. So thanks again for Mrs. Ma, because he be here, I'm be here. I should find some partners. She's my partners because we are thinking with you. But Mrs. Ma, we are together, not enough. We need some professors like Jonas, Gabor, and also the president from Old Buddha, and such as this. I'm sorry, I forgot the names. Glad. Okay, we cooperation. We can do a very important thing if we do in this period of times. But of course, if we are waiting, hesitate after 1 year, 2 years, maybe someone will replace us. You know, Chinese people is very clever, and some Hungarian people also clever. You know, they do a lot of things. If, of course, they are thinking their background is not enough. But who knows? Sometimes the children, maybe another adopted father see them. Okay, supporting you, you are success. This is the story. So this is what I suggested. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Just shortly, coming back also to give a success story during the COVID years. Probably you remember that every patient was connected to one respiratory system. The question was at that time that are there enough respiratory systems? So that's why we just created the concept of the mass ventilation process, and that became a success story because the idea was linking to one respiratory system, not so, let's say, gold standard method, but actually create clean air for all those patients who need to be on one given system, so do it in a mass ventilation. And that process was created in an open way, in an open source way, which meant that actually from Brazil up to China, from, I don't know, from the US to Australia, of course, our concept was created by different students, different researchers, different industrial partners, because those industrial partners provided us different devices, and we put it all together, creating a sensor network in order to create one device for Hungary, but in a different standard in South America, a different standard in China, but the concept is the same. How it was able, of course, by collaboration. And just Frank mentioned about trust. Well, that was an important point, that we trust in each other. Well, in order to build up trust, you need reliability. And just knowing that the students or the different research teams throughout the world who didn't met each other because it was COVID, so we couldn't travel to each other, we just developed this system by being reliable to each other and communicate. And not only collaborate, but also communicate. And in order to succeed these goals, actually that's also very important characteristics which connects to the failure experience. So you had to experience a lot of failures. You had to live it in order to get a success story. And communicating and collaborating through the different parts of the world and experiencing a lot of failures, actually that created the success story of the mass ventilation process. So that's also one international and directly connected academia-industrial relationship.
Thank you very much. I'm still thinking about this ecosystem idea, which was proposed by Professor Gang. It's very interesting because it changes this university cooperation to a more advanced level. But our time is over for the discussion. Thank you very much for your patience. For our kind students who had no new course or seminar, and you survived with us, it's congratulations, because for them it's very intensive work here. It's not just a university, but they are working here at home as well. And I open now the floor, and if you have any comment or questions, just go ahead, please. It's still open. Yes, please.
So thank you for the very positive atmosphere talk. It was really interesting. And actually myself is not a student, but also a similar field as you. I used to be teaching at universities, both in Hungary and Germany. And my question would be aimed at President Ma, that you also talked about, for example, in economy, building a new ecosystem, getting into different countries. And what I saw with my students, especially the international ones, that students coming from China had a lot stronger cultural fluency than their European or, for example, Indian, African counterparts. And how do you achieve in the education that Chinese students, I think it's really important nowadays, the cultural fluency, working in international teams, that it's a strong point for your country?
What did you teach in Germany?
I was a postdoctoral researcher there in chemistry.
Chemistry.
Actually, in our school, we don't really have many international students from China at the moment. But of course, when we are doing this planning, actually we are from two points of view. One is for our local students, Hungarian students, how can we gain enough international perspective for them? It not only includes culture, skills, and also the mindset, the way of thinking. That is the thing which I keep emphasizing to our local students. I'm very closely communicate with a lot of them. Even I don't speak much Hungarian. For the international students, we are designing another way for them. One thing is for them to understand the culture of the Europe. It's not only Hungary, also Europe. And another thing is to helping them to find out their passion and their value here. Because in a lot of ways, I can see from lots of our international students, the reason they are coming here is like they feel like they can find a future in Europe. But unfortunately, some of them, they are financially not very strong. They are just like disappear some way. But what we are telling them now is one thing is we are trying to help them in some way with the financial part, but it's not by like giving them a lot of scholarship. It's more to helping them to build the connection with industry to gain the thing by their hands, and at the same time gain the skills and knowledge, which to helping them to really graduate. And also for the international students, I think another thing which is very important for them is to understand the things, the rules, the regulations in Europe. You cannot like doing things like what you are doing in your country. They have to follow all the regulations. And also at the moment when we are designing our program, we are designing from the perspective of our local students, what will be their needs and make them more competitive in the market. And at the same time, we are designing a program from perspective of international students. How can they to be competitive talents in the market when they graduate? Because the international student actually is more challenging for them because they are not speaking Hungarian. They are not speaking any other like European language. So when they are trying to find a job, if the companies want to hire them, they are having the higher expectation of the results from the students. It's not like local students. That's why when we are doing all of this, we are thinking from lots of different perspectives. All the things which we do, we hope that it will really, really benefit for the students' future. Either they are decide to going back to their country or they are going to stay in Europe.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the detailed answer.
Any other notes, questions? If not, then I thank my guests for this wonderful discussion, and let's continue with the words of Frank that this is a nice thing together, building trust, but the more important thing is to continue in an organized ecosystem. Thank you very much. And you can approach the speakers personally now after the discussion. Thank you.